Thank you. All right, what's up, everyone? My first time getting to use the new mic setup. Pretty rad, right? Cool shit. Got our first real sponsor, you know. Literally shit. You know, that's pretty exciting. Oh, in the country of Albany, but they're, you know, small fries. So how's everyone doing? I see that my audio switch has fallen and is now hanging loosely by some wires. That's okay. That's like actually not that big a deal. I can fix it later. I made it in the Phoenix of Time. Damn right. So how you doing, Willow? How you doing, Bad Road? Happy Taco Tuesday. Oh man, I have ramen. And I have like Ramen Tuesday. It's just like cheap ass Nissan cup noodle, hot and spicy chicken. I miss when these cost 35 cents and the packets without the bowls cost like 11 cents, and that's Canadian. So that's like basically free in American money. Okay, I gotta hit some buttons like that one, and that one, and of course, that one. There we go. All right, cool. Got my controller, gotta adjust the thing. There we go. That's good stuff. Remember when the ramen packets were like 5 cents? Oh, I see. I see. You're a couple years old. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, this costs like $1.10, which is terrifying. Mukbang. Fucking good though. Look, I fucking love shitty ramen. I love really good ramen too, but that's an occasional thing. Shitty ramen is an all the times food. God damn it! I need to rearrange some pillows. Very, very important with how my bones are slowly breaking down from the inside out. You know, normal shit that everyone has to deal with. All right, controller, there we go. Switch to the scene. All right, we are good to go then. Come on, turn on controller. There we go. All right. All right, looks like y'all have sound. We are set. Let me turn on my... Apparently there's a switch to update. I'll just let that run while I start up my tablet's preview. Gonna turn back on by yourself. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's Phoenix Wright together. I don't think I've ever had any ramen but instant. Oh yeah. It's not a common thing to get in the States. 39 cents each. Except chicken, which is 50. God, that's 4 times the price it was when I was a kid. Except the chicken, which was the same price, so it's 5 times. Jesus Christ, I wonder why I guess there was that chicken shortage, but I think that's like long over. Once they've got you used to paying a certain price, they're never going to roll it back down is the thing. We keep seeing that over and over again. All right, let me get the mic a little bit closer to me. There we go. I am, for those who don't know, severely disabled. I am a wheelchair user. Currently, my left arm feels like it's broken, but I'm told it's generally fine and it just has to heal. It sucks because all three things that we do to survive require both hands. That is music, streaming, and game dev. We're trying to do some game dev. There's a lot to it. Just the most popular ones. Gross. So that's why I have to be laying back right now, because that's the only way that my arm doesn't hurt as bad. All right, here we go. Trial day. January 8th. I think we're on day 2, right? January 8th, 9:46 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think's gonna happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery.
That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet.
Are you okay, Nick?
Huh? Oh, yeah, of course.
I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes.
No, that wasn't doubt. That was determination. Only humans can have that.
Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. Sorry, let me get that voice back. The laugh always helps. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh, you look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help.
Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me you don't remember this thing. This was literally yesterday. Huh, come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trey Bien's kitchen a couple days ago.
Wow, look at all these little bottles.
Oh, they're the aromatherapy oils. He's got so many, they're overflowing onto the floor.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others.
Well, what do you know? Doesn't have a label either.
And it doesn't smell.
We finally got the analysis results back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it the poison?
I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication.
Medication?
Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? Oh, you mean... Yeah. It's the medicine Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Oh no, did it get switched with the poison? Present but in lurk mode? Well, good to see you, Beekeeper. He forgets everything that can be helpfully placed in a last time on Phoenix Wright bumper. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... that's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Today's trial, I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright.
Fingerprints? I don't think so.
Sorry, I'm still eating ramen, so... Gotta give me a sec. See, I should have finished this before the stream if I was going to be responsible. Knowing that I'm reading the whole time. And I'm usually pretty responsible. But fuck it. Empty carbs and MSG, my favorite. January 8th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. The day before JJ's birthday. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Sorry, my, ice pack strap is, getting loose. Let me refasten it real quick. It's a sharp sound, so the mic is good at not picking it up. Unlike a regular condenser mic, which is very good at picking up sharp sounds. Isn't that wild? Alright, that should hold it on better. I think. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. He's also got Phoenix's hair is the thing. Just, you know, not slicked back. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. And I did remember to make coffee before the stream this time. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank it with his right hand, but according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Like, we know it has to have been that he was seeing it in a reflection, right? That's the only thing that accounts for what he says. Because I don't think he's lying. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning. And time keeps on slipping into the future, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. I do love that this is the first prosecutor that the judge has fully turned on. Because he's... Even the judge looks at Godot and sees a goober. And the judge is himself a goober. Alright, that's all the rest of my ramen. Where he doesn't know his left from his right, that's possible, but that seems less likely. Maybe he's confused because in Japan you write right to left. That's a stretch, though. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? Oh, wait, you know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here, he was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. A thump thump.
And you are? Ah, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head of Chef La Très Bien Restaurant Enchanté. I know I said half of that completely wrong. Forgive me for asking, witness, but oh my god, why are you doing this? Why are they... They were doing so good, and then there's gotta be something like weirdly problematic in every one of these games. Oh la la, monsieur, as you can see, I am le pert and petit gentleman, no? The joke is he's gay. Look how gay that man is. Isn't he so gay? That's the joke. It's the same joke as Shadow Hearts, right? On the day of the incident, you were in Très Bien's kitchen. And I have a lot good to say about Shadow Hearts. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur? Everything feels right. Ah, whoops. Ah. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? No. Phoenix, he's not intimidated because he's bi and Jean is hot. Catch up. I thought it was just French. Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Très Bien. Oui, volontiers. At Très Bien. When it happened, there was 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with these new art decos that day. Like having a large... Yep, right there. Like having a large mural between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Okay, so it's not that. They're just... I thought they were going to have me latch onto that, but no. No, we're going to have to disprove that somehow. Le cup, la earpiece, and la glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? A mirror? Oui, un grand mirror. La most enormous mirror. And why is this just coming up now? And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? That's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. At Très Bien. Alright, now we hit save, as is tradition. When it all happened, there was 2 customers in my restaurant. Whoops, alright, I'm supposed to press on these. I forgot how to play the game, y'all. And who were the 2 customers, exactly? Of course, the young man who died. And the other not so young man who did not die. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. About the other man that Maggie said she saw at the table. Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. I remember I was experimenting with the new Art Deco that day. You were experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about this before today? You're not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did just a few moments ago. Ahem, excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of a deculture? No, it's a style of Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpet, that kind of thing, which we've chosen for him to do because he's gay. That's the joke. Ah, yes, of course, that deco. I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most boldly modeling of la decor. Look, there's plenty of straight people who do interior design, obviously. But thanks to popular television, people think of it as a gay thing. Like having a large mirror between la tables, for example. Sorry, I'm going so hard on this French accent that it's starting to come out the other side. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? And I know it doesn't sound Quebecois and it doesn't sound like it's from France, because I'm kind of trying to do both and not getting either. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Belgian? Yes. I definitely sound Belgian. Okay, so now that the old man's testimony is unimpeached, we can call him back for exonerating evidence he didn't present. That's true. That's true, huh? I wonder if that'll happen. How big of a mirror are we talking here? Something about 4 meters wide and, about 2 meters high. There is no way you had a 4-meter wide mirror in between. Those tables aren't 4 meters wide. They're maybe 2 meters wide. That's how booths work. 4 meters is more than 12 feet. That wouldn't fit. Let's see, if 1 meter is about a yard, holy glass in a frame, that's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Is there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. We never got to look at the ceiling. Lawyers can't look up. Big Al said so. Man, no, but I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Obviously. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But you didn't ask, right? You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Très Bien the day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Très Bien, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant the day of the crime. Ha! If you want to doubt someone trite, look in the mirror. You notice that Godot has not done a single good thing? He's the only
prosecutor so far who has gone this long, still making it very clear that all he cares about is winning, even if he's letting a guilty man go free or an innocent woman go to prison. Even what's-her-face from the previous game had started to come around by now to the idea that maybe something was wrong with this system. Just a little bit. Godot is a stone goddamn wall. If you want to doubt someone, Trite, look in the mirror. Franziska, yes, Von Karma. Well, I guess the Elder Von Karma also was like that. So Godot is taking after Franziska's father. But the only people we know of who trained under Manfred, which I think was his name, were Edgeworth and Franziska. So that doesn't quite fit. Because he's definitely not one of them. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you. Huh? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Oh my god, he's gonna call homophobia on Phoenix. That's actually really funny. Could Godot be Manfred in a mask? Isn't Manfred either dead or like deep in prison? Also pale as snow. So yes, definitely could be. Oh, you can't believe he's calling Phoenix right on homophobia. Oh, fuck. Where does that leave? Where does that leave the porcupine-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trite? Not the hair! I do not have a top knot! It's true, she has a high braid, not braid, high ponytail. Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Even the judge gets it. Bien. Logique as van la day. Do you know anyone in real life who English is their second language, who just throws in casually in every sentence 3 or 4 words from their first language? Like, I'm not saying no one talks like that, but it's so common in media, and it always feels weird. La cup, la earpiece, la bass, la treble. I like my coffee black, just like my medal. And la glasses, he would have seen everything in reverse, no? Everything. He would have seen everything in reverse. Oui. Hey, Nick. We should take a sec and think about what old CD said in his testimony. Oh, how did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand. If he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh? Now that's interesting, because his lens is very clearly on his right eye.
And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Ha! It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We've just gotta dig deeper. Alright, so let's go to that last one. And now we're gonna be presenting what's gonna prove this. That's gotta work, right? Because it's clearly on his right eye. No, it's on his left eye. I was mixed up. No, it is on his left eye, and that's the problem. Because if he was seeing it in a mirror, okay, I got it. If he was seeing it in a mirror, he wouldn't have seen the lens on the left eye, he would have seen it on the right. So this is correct. All right, we're presenting this Glenn Elgman, right? Let's go. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt.
So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side.
Exactement, you see, monsieur? Now that you think about it, it is not so odd, no?
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. Never met anyone who does that. Me either. There might be someone who does, but I have not met them. I've known some people who are like just conversationally fluent, who will throw in a word here or there if they don't know the word that goes there. But in fiction, it's always like, oh, let's just so you remember he's French. Just make every few words a French word. It's such an odd trope. They'll go on for paragraphs, then get stuck on one word. I do that too, and I only speak one language. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Sec, I'm turning up the game volume on my end. It was very quiet and I like the music. There we go.
Order, Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye.
Smarmy fucker.
How bitter.
What are we up to? I think we're past 17 cups already on this case. This trial.
Try it, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time.
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? Coffee calms me down.
You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume?
The eye broke the vase. Sorry, apology. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony.
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Are you seriously going with... I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Well, Trite. Ugh. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever.
Wow, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Godot's good.
Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash.
A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on. Tell the court, we're all ears.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant.
The mirror.
Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? I just want to press right now. Which I'm gonna get to in a second, right? La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one... Okay, that explains some things. There's only one seat from which you could have seen an image of le victime. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
I see no problems with the explanation we've just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there. Ugh, I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that?
Volunteer, of course.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
Hating for Godot, very good. Very good, Bad Road. La mirror. Oh, we don't get to push on the first part. It was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two waves.
So run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct?
Oui.
We? Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way. Really? That's what you're going with, Nick. Look who's talking, Trite. Huh? You're obstructed my view, among other things.
But this is my seat in the court. This is where I sit.
Tribulations' charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite.
I tell you, monsieur, le mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. There's only one seat from which you could have seen an image of le victim.
And where would that be?
Oh la la, look how you lean toward me.
I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. Oh, I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Shall I tease you too? Come on, Judge. Go out with this man. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume.
Let's move past that one. Bien, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. I know she's trying to say that he's dating his own reflection. That was la seat at the table next to la victims. That was where the old man was sitting. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? Mais monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at the plans, you will understand. La victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no? That also would explain why he couldn't see the tiger.
So that's the seat old Seedy was sitting in on that day. When the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd?
I still don't understand why that would change the side that he would see the lens on. I feel like I missed something. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant and no, Nick, you just gave him a leading question, which is going to complicate things. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself. What can I say? I know how to pick things up, handsome.
Godot actually laughed at something.
Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it's possible. He's very large and broad and muscly. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I look like the obliging type, no? Well, naturally, I did not touch anything else. Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except le mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something the witnesses said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Ah, suffering from a case of heartburn, right? Oh, I have just the thing for that. An oil with golden meal and frankincense. A few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. Focus, Phoenix, breathe. I need to ignore these two and just find some evidence.
It is pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Seedy.
Then the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Tribulations that day. Now I've just got to prove it somehow.
Where's that photo? There's a vase on the table where Victor was sitting. He claimed he had knocked it down. There shouldn't be a vase there if that's where he was. Very rarely in these games is something like that a goof. Whoops, fuck. Need to get to that. All right. Think we got this. Fingers crossed. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we've heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Usually when he says this piece of evidence, it's a dead end. So I just about had a heart attack there. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Mr. Trite. Godot's turn to just sniping at this point. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photograph? I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Good shit. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! Objection. Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase. While the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Ah. Ah. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear?
You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. It's all a fucking setup. It has been right from the goddamn start. This is so good. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer right after these messages from our sponsors. Oh, here we go. Okay. Ooh, we're going to go to the break. Before we do that, I want to remind you that there is a civil rights movement happening around the country and the wider world. Black Americans, people of color, are fighting for things that should never have to be fought for, like equal rights, equal treatment under the law, and to not be attacked, terrorized, and even murdered by the police. I've listed here. That's the wrong button. I've listed here some ways that you can help. On to the clock. I'll give the message when we come back.
And I forgot to unmute myself.
Fucking hell. All right, let's try this again. Remember that there is a civil rights movement happening around the country and the wider world. Black Americans, people of color, are fighting for things that should never have to be fought for, like equal rights, equal treatment under the law, to be attacked, and to not be attacked, terrorized, and even murdered by the police. We have listed here some ways that you can help, including the Bail Fund Network to help keep protesters out of jail, the Okra Project, and the Black Trans Travel Fund to help black, trans, and non-binary people with food, supplies, and travel out of dangerous situations, and the Black Hills Legal Fund, the Lakota People's Fund to take back their land, the Six Grandfathers, which was stolen by white people, arbitrarily renamed to Mount Rushmore, and then had some white slave owners' faces carved into the side of it. Black lives matter. The lives of people of color matter. Indigenous lives and lands matter. Asian and Pacific Islander lives matter. These are things we got to keep saying and pushing and fighting for until the people all the way to the top not only understand and acknowledge them, but work to make them real protected truths. All right, let's go. Let's get back to the game. There we go.
Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. What I say. This case is riddled with contradictions, yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. This is so fucked up. Okay, that was a great spit take. Good on ya, animators.
Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite, are you saying that Mr. Kudo saw that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that?
Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was...
The serving girl brought him a Javicino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but...
There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is the most difficult for me.
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened.
A real judge would have held Godot in contempt for telling him to get out of the courtroom. Yup. When my aunt was on jury duty, she heard a judge say, "In this room, I am God." I do think maybe that judge should be under suspicion then. I don't think that's a good thing for a judge to say.
The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain, in detail, the event in the restaurant that day.
Oui.
In the restaurant. La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Je vous demande pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong.
That is literally the first time anyone's been called on perjury in this fucking series.
I will decide how to punish you later.
Oui.
For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
He took that perjury charge a bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after the cross-examination. Also, he would have been, you know, he doesn't want to be on the hook for murder.
La victime, Monsieur Erg, came to my restaurant alone.
Was he alone at his table as well?
Mais oui, I saw him from la kitchen.
Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Ha! Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone.
Yeah, during the time that he... Godot is an effective villain. He's so punchable.
You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite.
What kind of coffee has he been drinking?
It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet.
You would punch a guy with glasses, would you? I would request he remove them first. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. Ugh.
I remember the old man arrived not long after him.
By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip. Nothing more.
So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after you arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10, no? Huh. Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. I can't just sit here all the time and do nothing, now can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Glad at least one person's in a good mood. The radio broadcast was at 2, exactly what I was thinking. He's even humming a song to himself. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, after 2 p.m. We have a flyer for the radio broadcast here somewhere. Lottery ticket. Oh, there's a third page, right. Monday at 1:30. It's actually earlier. Interesting. Objection! Still fits. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Quoi? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be la show mon elk was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I'll remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving Le Lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. That show's broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he'd won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! The victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how would you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What music theory, what? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. He would have been dragged to the kitchen, right? That would also explain how his ear medicine wound up mixed in with the other bottles. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Narg. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? All of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed? It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside of a restaurant? Perhaps you'd care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Had to have been in the kitchen. The exact location where the body was concealed was... The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Wow, just generic dialogue all the way down, huh? But yeah. Gotta be. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. Eh? Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. It contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matches the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Ooh, 2 spit takes. Glen Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu! Yeah, you know what I'm about to say. It's you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No! Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg? Never. I could not do such an horrible thing. No! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups of coffee you've had by now? How are you not dead? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? Je vous demande pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It's a trap. Listen to me, por favor. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you see it? No, absolutely no. Let's hear it. You got one shot, one opportunity, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As does my gavel. Oui, this is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. So, obviously, Tigray had manipulated, at the very least, Jean into doing this, because Jean also owed him a huge sum of money, and he has and Tigray has a penchant for causing kneecaps to be broken. It's true. I ate la body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him, I swear it. You must believe me. You were forced? By whom? I cannot say, or I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elg died, whoops, was he really the only person at his table? There was. There was another man. I knew it.
Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. I can tell I'm starting to get the hang of these games' logic finally because I'm making so many fewer mistakes. Did you carry the body by yourself? Oui, I carried him and I carried Maggie too. Maggie too? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. But why did you hide the bodies? A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. Maya, don't be like that. The joke was almost funny. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. So, you're claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, is that correct? Oui, that's right. If we're to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this. He's already confessed this much. He might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want us to tell who the killer is. He really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Alright. So I guess this is probably where we present Don Tigre, right? Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to. Oh! Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I don't know, maybe a month ago in this very courtroom. This man is Fiorio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tenderlender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, at least not while he had this on you. We've known this for quite a while. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, the Tigre, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I went a bit Mario there. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Fiorio Tigre, aka the Angry Cat. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It's despicable. Mr. Godot. You will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Except that no, it's gonna be, he's gonna bust into the courtroom, right? Proceedings will continue tomorrow. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Wow, it's actually going to the next chapter and all. So I guess we're going to get a little bit of in-between for this half-hour recess? All right. Wild. January 8th, 1:21 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1. So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're gonna need. Hey, pal! Yeah, honestly, this series shines despite its problems. And I know that's a bit of a backhanded compliment. But I do enjoy it. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe! What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's the pot cow and the kettle black, little Miss Topknot. It's not a top knot. Oh, never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? Oh, wait, wrong voice. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kind of get wound up. Gumshoe. Gumshoe has ADHD. Ah, he's got like every symptom. No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will have to reconvene by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck, so we need to get the prints on the bottle examined. Right? Did telling someone to calm down ever work? Maybe once in all of history. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour? You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? If you're gonna head back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey, that's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah. I think it's time we solve the last mystery of who the prince on it belonged to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me, too. Okay. I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. The real guys. I doubt he'd have touched the bottle if it was in his pocket. It had to have been picked up and placed with Armstrong's bottles is the main thing. Because it would have fallen out on the floor. So that means it probably, when it was getting put away by whoever did that, those prints are going to be on it. And I have a feeling I know whose it's going to be, and it's going to suck. Because it's not going to be Armstrong's, and it's not going to be Tigre's. January 8th, 1:56 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I've tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites. Or Maggie. Yeah. To be clear, I'm convinced it's going to be Viola's. Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. And that can go one of two ways, because Viola could be a scared girl, or she could be the mastermind. Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room down there for me, too. What you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest. Who would have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? Hey, I resemble that remark, Phoenix. I don't think Tigre is smart enough to mastermind the plan. Yeah. I want Viola to not be the mastermind. I really do. But she did say that she likes setting people on fire, so... I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge. Your Honor? Is that the first time we've seen the judge's chair? Holy crap. Why is that what surprises me? Oh dear, I must have dropped my pen. Now where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it, we're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said who the hell was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What do you say? There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Yeah. Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about any stinking incident, Mask Boy.
The law is a human institution. It sure is.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please, tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Huh. Phoenix Wright. You was the one who set this up, didn't ya? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Ooh, maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. A gulp. He did Phoenix right, it's true. Who wouldn't, though? Get a grip, Nick. What's a grip, Nick? The tiger's alibi.
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with the business in December last year. Spent all my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. Yous want to check my alibi, just ask Violetta. At last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you're Well, what is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting like that. I know the kind of games the guy in blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins.
Isn't that like a big part of lawyering? Lowlife? Me?
Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to the case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger. I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute. That's really not. This witness is, how can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's heads off, yours too. Very well, I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony.
Oh, good.
Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Come out from under there already, would you? Alright, so where do we press first? Since I apparently have to pick and choose. Well, let's crack at his alibi, right? Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini? God, that's an even less subtle name than Mr. Body from Clue.
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what?
Mr. Tigre, what do you want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. This is a dead end, Tried, and you know it. Remember the rules. Ooh. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe yous ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. We have evidence that disproves that. We have Glenn's calendar from his desk. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could, please. Mr. Tigre, the court asked you to add that last statement to your testimony. Huh. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. The day you was talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before. I'm confident on this one. Not even gonna save. Objection! Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glenn Elg, but it appears Mr. Glenn Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger. And the date? December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glenn Elg. Because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Not bad. It's actually not bad. Sorry? I just messing with you to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? Ruh-roh. So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh, yes. Would you mind indulging the court, witness? Never actually met the victim. That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nail this guy. See, he does Phoenix right, and Phoenix Wright nails him. I ain't no liar. I never met Glenn Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, then the lender. Waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never been to that Très Bien joint, you see? I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. Does the judge know he can hold people in contempt? I guess not. If he did, I think there'd have been almost every character in this series would have been. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor, I assume we're still on the penalty system. Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, right? I'm curious. He says he's never been to Tribulations before, right? I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. There's some lingo with that name, yada yada. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office. Waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never been to that Tribulations joint, you hear? Except he has to have been. Right? Because... Where is it? Where is it? There. There. No. There. Found it. Boom. So hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Most people are late to their own funerals. Hey! Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What you talking about? Well, we found them in your office at Tenderlender. They're from that restaurant. Whoa. If you've really never been to Tribulations before, what was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk? He's not a good liar. You've been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. What? Order? Order? Well, witness? I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Please forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day. What? Well, listen good, all right? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm so close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elg that day, and he did put that poison in his coffee. He must have. At Tribulations. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Don't need to be a good liar when your typical argument is ad bacula. Very true. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it. If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. No problem. Anytime Trite presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. The Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know, since yous paying. Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? The rule of law is created to protect people like this man. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Y'all see the problem here? When he entered the restaurant, he didn't see shit. This guy's a really bad liar.
Objection!
You are something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigray? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And that's a good time to go to our second ad break. Hey, if you want to support us, you can either subscribe here for our cool emotes, shout out when you subscribe, or you can head on over to patreon.com/ifwhen, which will get you access to art, music, updates, blogs, etc., and a shout out at the end of the stream. Both real cool things to do for us. In the meantime, we're going to go to the break. I'll run some ads, and we'll be back here in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
we are back. Let's do the thing. He did this through the whole break. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's about time that we got something straight. What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning? The pregnantist. These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre? From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this.
Indeed. The witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Ain't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Unfortunately for you, that's not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables, it's a tall partition.
Why, that's true.
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. Someone get this man some water. He's going to dehydrate. So from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with him.
Objection!
Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn Elg, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim that he had just killed and acted out a charade. Or charade, depending on your national origin.
That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim?
Seriously, Your Honor.
You say the killer murdered Glenn Elg and then impersonated the victim in a performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court.
Jesus Christ. Gotta spell everything out, right? Obviously, the killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it.
What? Well, witness?
Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dares you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts?
You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright?
Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You's got guts, I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright, don't leave me to handle this alone.
Perhaps I can end this embarrassment.
Mr. Godot?
Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no.
The serving girl brought him a Javachito, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison in the coffee.
Yes, it was the waitress who put the Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Found your pen at last, right?
It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? Who's this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender.
You making a big mistake. You know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Watch it be the robot girl. Oh no. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Ms. Bird, had stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. She had this kind of cackling laugh. There's just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Ms. Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, is you! Can you believe there's one more case after this? Witness? What have you got to say?
That's cute.
Sorry?
It's alright. I could do with a guy like you around.
What do you mean?
Okay. I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about.
You's got it all wrapped up nice, alright? But you's missed one real important thing.
But that can't be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met the kid, too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you hear?
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. T. Gray?
What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony.
Steaming cup of something. Indeed. Witness, will you explain yourself to the court? I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
Ties to the victim. Yeah, I loaned Elg cash, about $100,000. That day he was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know? Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over.
That waitress, huh? That's an interesting turn of phrase. Now, I see that the principal amount you loaned Mr. Elg was $50,000.
Yeah, well, you got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? Huh. He has to have one. But what is it? Yeah, I want to hear about that last bit. The virus. Oh, right. That hasn't come around yet. Interesting. Is that going to come up here? Because it feels like we're nearing the end of this one and may go into the next case. All right. I want to know what this is about. The waitress. You mean
the girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair? Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten away, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with.
maybe I should push a little on this. How would things have been? What do you mean things would have been over and done with?
Are yous all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the waitress's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. T. Gray had no motive for killing the victim. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect what you just said. The tiger's motive, huh? Yeah, we're coming back around to the virus. You're 100% right. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elg owed you, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after.
What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money?
Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What's that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What is one of those? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that's from the Stone Age. Oh, I'll explain later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Several $1 million? Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glen Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Glen Elg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money.
Objection.
You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get hold of that program?
Exactly.
The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder.
Of course he could, provided he had time. What if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million? I think we know. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital, where she underwent surgery.
How much of this do you know?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. And yet, when the payment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay it in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs.
No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue.
So, what Godot is saying is probably true in Japan. Here in the States, it's Tuesday. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it. I like the tiger roar they give him. That's cute.
Order, order, order. You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say cadaverini?
Which you already said earlier.
So I don't know why I'm surprised.
Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Bruto Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elg's life to pay your debt. Now we gotta learn about where that virus went and who set it loose. On the day of the murder, Mr. T. Gray's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Also, why was the disc in their CD player? Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000 and Mr. T. Gray knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. T. Gray would prefer to say never happened. But he can't, and neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. T. Gray with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means.
That's crazy.
He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. T. Gray posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Ms. Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Objection.
Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it.
We already been over this, but Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. T. Gray's plan. Order! Order! Silence or I...
You put on a good show, Spiky. If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that.
I agree.
You do?
Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Ms. Bird had no way out. What? Another one, Mr. Wright?
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite?
The fucking fake lawyer badge.
What was this trick you say Mr. T. Gray performed to frame the accused?
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be foolish by such a childish imitation. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. T. Gray, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I'd ever seen.
Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Gulp.
Hey. Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir?
This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court we deal with people's lives.
Mr. Godot is right. Your Honor? Speaking for myself, I'm absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it. Jesus Christ. If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But we've come so far.
You say he impersonated Glenn Elg. You say he impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee.
I mean, we will in a few minutes, if we can just hold out a bit longer. As a defense attorney for capital cases, yes, I'm aware of that, Mr. Godot. Oddly, that's a valid point. The judge can't, in fact, be a witness. Yeah, that's very true.
Ugh!
Come on, Gumshoe, where are you? Gumshoe, where are you?
Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger or you're gonna get mauled. You got that?
All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting to admit his own guilt.
Looks like I won't be needing a refill.
If I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You're free to go, Mr. Tigre. There we go. Hold it! Your Honor, sir. Wait! Detective! Detective Gumshoe! Sorry I took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence. What? What? January 8, 2:48 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 1. Oh my god. Sorry it took so... It was such a good drawing. Sorry it took so long, pal. I finally got the results from the lab. Results? About the prince, pal, from the medicine bottle. Oh, so? Do you know who the prince belonged to now? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it.
You bet. Clear as crystal all over the bottle. The Furio Tigre's paw prints, all right.
That's great. We've got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick.
I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now. Huh? What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenn Elk's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
This was our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright, I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal.
Detective Gumshoe. Maggie? You've been working on something for me?
I'm sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair.
Detective Gumshoe, wait!
He's gone.
Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick?
I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. The victim's ear medicine, covered in Furio Tigre's fingerprint. January 8th, 3:04 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered. Time for a fake out, you know it. Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us. Naturally. We can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste. How much more of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been in no court before. But you lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. Well, I know I can't prove anything with this new evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here. Maybe if he thinks he's got me beat? He'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court. I guess there's not much else we can do. It's gonna trip him out, though. This is the defense's final piece of evidence. Isn't that the victims? Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We've clearly identified some fingerprints. Oh my god. And Tigre's gonna think that it's the bottle that had the poison in it. We've clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre. What? But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone in here knows what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark. My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle? That what you saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway? A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains potassium cyanide. This bottle contains potassium cyanide. But potassium cyanide? The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that?
You would make a good clown, you know that?
What?
Yous ain't never gonna get this to stick. You're just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger?
Oh my god, it didn't work, but he's gonna start. He's gotta give himself up anyway.
I can see straight through you, Phoenix, right?
That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it. No, this is the bottle we found traces of the poison in.
Don't mess with the tiger, you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown, and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it.
Got him. At last.
What? Why's everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle.
Is this the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle with the cyanide. Cusco cyanide. The cyanide for Cusco. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy-looking suit fool you, people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell the guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What'd I just say?
You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all those little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in the courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison.
You don't know who you're messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me?
Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer, it was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. He looks like Firebrand, the Red Blaze, when he does that. A gargoyle. What's going on? Looks like a blackout.
Well done, Trite.
We're summoning his stand.
I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey.
Mr. Wright, you caught the tiger by his toe. Lol. But if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Let's not reference that poem, eh? Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Godot?
He's being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glenelg, Your Honor.
Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney.
Yes,
She was.
and in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake.
Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue and that dog. Furio Tigre is truly a frightening criminal.
The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Godot.
Well, I'm now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. Hooray! Every courtroom needs confetti. That is all. This court is adjourned.
January 8th, 4:10 p.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 1.
Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago.
Thank you, Bad Road.
But now I feel like I can forgive him.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger.
Look, Nick, in the doorway.
Detective Gumshoe. Oh, I guess I'll be heading off then. See ya. Wait!
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thank you.
I knew you was innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh, well, I was, well, I guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, detective. He just ran off.
Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Yeah, I can see why she quit the force. You know, it's not a good... I can imagine becoming very frustrated. Fuck. Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him.
Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick?
Oh, I can put in more than a good word. Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie? You know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this.
I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up.
He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it.
I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe... I almost said Jumshoe. That Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom.
Loving weenies. Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe made with a ton of love.
He said you lost weight and he was worried about you.
Detective Gumshoe.
I actually really like weenies, you know. Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know.
Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now? So, how is it, Maggie? It's really good.
Ah, yes, of course, that old true fact that cops don't lie in court. So the case of the phony came to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows, maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. I forgot it auto-advances the text at the end. Episode 3, Recipe for a Turnabout. The end. Whoa. There's a 5th case in this one? There's another case to the right. A brand new episode has been added, and it's about Edgeworth. Well, fucking cool. This one's a bit longer. But that's going to be it for tonight. Well, let me get my mic into a position that I can something. Oh right, I have to adjust the arm. This is my first time messing around with this thing. All right, there we go. All right, thanks everyone for coming. If you want to support us, you can of course subscribe here. Get access to the usual Twitch stuff, or you can head on over to patreon.com/ifwhen. Get access to art and music and other such cool stuff, you know, and a shout out at the end of the streams. Sorry about that. That must have sounded great. Thank you so much to our patrons: Angelic, Willow Mist, Nahum Wengrove, Sky, Green, Andymonium, Kai, and Melly Basket. You rock. Thank you. There's our schedule over at truckcommunity.neocities.org. Next scheduled stream on there is going to be Bad Road. Tomorrow with more Blood Rain 2. And then back here to Zoo for more Shin Megami Tensei 5. Lots of good shit. And here's our YouTube channel. Yes, and not right yet, right? No, not right now, baby. Gotta back up a bit. I don't have time to, or I don't have the space to move stuff. And I don't have the time till after I sign off. YouTube.com/@ifwhenvod. That's where all the streams go after they're done streaming. So you want to catch up on some, that's where you go. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you all so much for coming, and we'll see you next time.